Hello and welcome. We have everyone joining in now.
Hi, yes.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started and with our first question, which is, see. Okay, so who's in the room? We'd love to hear you in the chat so we can get to know each other a little bit. While other people are waiting in, your chat will then be reflected on the small little box in the bottom right-hand corner if everything works well. So, love to hear where you're from, what subjects or grade you teach, all of that wonderful stuff. Hello, Jenny.
Hi.
Hi, hi. We have Lori, who's a reading specialist in Delaware. Luana, who is teaching secondary computer science. We have some math people from New York. Oh, this is wonderful. We have people from all over the US. So everything from K-5 technology to librarian to special educator, all of that. That's so wonderful. Okay, so oops.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate Maloney, and I'm the Executive Director of Infosys Foundation USA. And I'm thrilled today to welcome you to the start of the Pathfinders Summer Institute 2025. This program is one of our favorites. It's our chance to invest in all of you as educators of the next generation. And this year is our largest. This program has been growing and growing, and we're thrilled this year to have over 1,500 K-12 teachers, librarians, CTE specialists, and those of you who are just passionate about bringing computer science to your students. We are thrilled to welcome our PD providers into the mix. We have 26 and lots of new PD providers who've come into the mix in the last couple of years. So we're thrilled to bring this theme of classroom to career, hoping as you're learning computer science and making through your course hours that you're thinking about the future opportunities for your students. And of course, there'll be that little bit of AI also sprinkled in light of the trends that we're surrounded by in both our classrooms, in the education space, and in industry. So I want to, again, just warmly welcome you, kick you off to a wonderful summer experience, and we're thrilled that you're a part of the Pathfinders Summer Institute 2025.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with me. I'm all over the place. And you'll see my lovely face. Hello, everyone! Yay! I'm so excited for you all to be here. I don't know why we have so many duplicates in the chat for yays and everything, but I am so excited to be here with you all. My name is Nicole Lee. I am the co-founder of Elementari. And today we'll be getting started with a lot of fun writing and coding things. Background about me, my background is in engineering and sciences, I guess. I went to MIT. However, I ended up doing a lot of stuff in education. So I worked a lot with games in education, and then I ended up doing a lot of research with scientific inquiry and all of that stuff. So scientific inquiry, making learning fun with games. And then later on, I did a lot of stuff related to what is it called? Secondary language learning. So I ran a lot of STEM camps, and that's kind of like my background. So I have a lot of focus on STEM and engineering design process, and that is kind of like what I bring to the table. So if anyone needs captions, please enable it in More. Click on the More and enable CC for closed captions. I will try my best to speak slower starting now, so that way everyone can understand me a little bit better. Oh, there's a sound effect from the chat. Let me get rid of that sound effect. 1 second. How do I do that? There we go. Should be good. No. How do I get rid of the sound effect in chat? La 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 la.
I think it's part of the app that's showing in the bottom of the screen.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see if I can set that up so it has no more beeping. Go ahead into
If you go into your chat and then in the top right-hand corner, there's a little bell. You can click on that and then it will mute.
Oh, so it's Zoom that's making the beeps? Okay, I thought it was me that was making the beeps. Where is it? So I'm in.
And you have the chat part showing on your right-hand side or wherever you see meeting chat. In the top corner, there's a bell.
There's a bell in the top corner. Meeting chat. Da, 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 da. Or you know what I'll do? I'll do this instead. We'll figure out how to do this later. I'm gonna go into my screen share options and I'm gonna stop the share really quick. I'll share again and disable the sound. That's what I'll do. Okay, so hopefully it's good now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can someone type something in again so we can see? Do you still hear sound? Okay, no, perfect. Well, I did it. I hear beeps on my end, so I'll have to figure out how to change that up later. Okay, so overall, I think we're pretty good, but just so that we can all be on the same-ish page. Overall, please stay muted unless you need to talk. Use chat to answer questions. You'll see that the chat may appear in the recordings, and there's no need for cameras, though we do encourage it in breakout rooms, and feel free to rename yourself. So you can call yourself CatLover123 if you want, if that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. So who is this PD for? Well, it's really for any K-12 educator, no coding experience needed. We'll focus a lot on these three main groups though. So the classroom teacher, so this is your English language arts teacher, social studies and foreign language. That's how I've seen elementary used in classrooms. Then we have gifted and talented teachers, CTE, technology and coding programs. And then finally, anyone who's in the librarian or makerspace area. So overall for the PD objectives, we have 4 main objectives. The first one is to really understand how creative coding and storytelling boosts literacy and learning. So this PD is not for you to become an expert coder. This PD is to understand how coding can be used to augment your learning, your regular classroom learning. If you are a coding teacher, then of course we can extend on elementary and talk about lots of fun things that you can do that make it a little bit more unique than maybe some other tools, such as accessibility, UI design, UX design, things like that, and really making it easy for even the youngest of learners to be able to create something that they can be proud to share. So our second objective is to, well, we're going to create stories, we're going to create quizzes, apps, and games. There's going to be a lot of projects, and I don't expect you to finish all the projects, okay? So the goal of this PD at the end is for you to be able to walk out with an understanding of not only the lessons that we've, done in the PD, but creating your own custom lesson that is directly aligned to your own standards and your own classroom. So then, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we're going to focus on designing. So designing projects for your students and your subject areas. Not every teacher will teach the same, group of people. And of course, you all have different constraints. You have some teachers who will be able to do projects that are every day for over 2 weeks. And other teachers who only have, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Maybe they're even like librarians who don't even know who's going to come into their programming, and they have a 30-minute session to run. So I'm going to go through some of the different use cases and how you can use elementary effectively for all those different groups. And then finally, I hope that we can all connect with each other, share ideas, and support each other. And I hope this will be a really fun experience for everyone. So let's put up our first poll on a scale of 1 to 6. First day of PD faces. What is your mood? Type in the chat, what is your mood? Okay. So we have a lot of people who are just sipping their tea or their coffee, just here to chill out and relax. That's great. And of course, I want to be still on vacation, so whoever put that in, I'm with you. But most of all, I am really, really excited and pumped and ready for this. So, oh wow, someone just came back from Ireland. That's so fun. Okay. By the way, if anyone doesn't know, I'm currently located in France, but the weather outside right now isn't, the postcard weather. It's kind of windy and rainy, which is unfortunate. But okay, great. So it seems like a lot of us are just taking it all in, and that's fine. That's great. So let's move on and continue with the technical requirements. So in order to create your own project, that is to create your own story or game, you will need a laptop device, a desktop, Chromebook, something that you can type with preferably. So that way you can go into elementary.com in order to create your projects. So of course you'll need internet, but obviously we all have internet here in Zoom, and a modern web browser. So for the agenda today, we're going to be focusing on why storytelling and creative coding matter. And we're going to be doing 1.5 or 3 projects. So one project, About Me interactive book, is going to be kind of broken down into 2 sections. We'll be doing our basic creation of the About Me book, and then focusing a little bit about animations. And then we'll be going through the Choose Your Own Adventure, Mad Lib game, and then of course during the lunch period we have a panel that will be talking about Gen Alpha literacy and beyond, and we really want to hear what you think about Gen Alpha, since many of you, especially if you're in the K-5 space, already have them in your classes. Okay, so for the week though, we're going to be doing foundational computer science concepts today. So Monday, it's the foundations of computational thinking. That's what the CT stands for, and what that all means. Tuesday is just project. Tuesday will be about looking at the full scope that elementary can offer. I know we have a lot of K-5 teachers here. Tuesday, maybe not all the projects are going to be applicable for your students. It's really maybe for like 5th grade and up, because we do deal with, variables and conditionals and things like that. But I think it's important for just to keep in mind kind of like the capabilities that what you can create on elementary. Then Wednesday, it's going to be talking a lot more about AI. How do we use AI to really super boost our lesson planning design process, and a little bit about some of the concerns you might have with AI. Then we have I think a discussion with Coach Victor Hicks will come in, talk about culturally responsive projects, and there's going to be a lot of focus on student voice, project-based learning, and how that can really, engage your students. Thursday, we'll do a little bit of fun with puzzles, like around the theme of digital escape rooms. We'll cover digital citizenship. And Thursday, we will be working on your own custom lessons. So starting Thursday, it's going to be focused on how can you create your own lesson on elementary. And then finally, Friday, we will finalize, share, and test each other's custom lessons. So like I mentioned before, I'm not here to teach you how to become a coder. If you want to do that, join another another session, go learn Python. This is not where it's all about. I really want us to focus on classroom pedagogy. I really want us to focus on classroom strategies. How does this look like in your classroom? And how can you walk out with a full arsenal of things that you can implement right when school starts? So, in one word, let's see if my word cloud will work. What do you hope to get out of today? Does my word cloud work? That's the question. No, maybe not. There we go. Oh, my word cloud has some testing stuff in it. Ideas, tools, innovation, foundations. Oh, inspiration. These are all such great words. Okay, integration, ideas, engagement. Great. So that's what we're going to be. Oh, collaboration. Awesome. Okay, so before we dive into the actual coding, I want to just frame some of the greater problems out there. I don't think not learning how to code is the big one. I really think the bigger problem is, we have a literacy problem, because it doesn't matter how good you are at math or science or coding, if you cannot communicate that with others, if you cannot express yourself coherently, and that ties into the bigger literacy problem. So in the US, the latest writing assessment was done like in 2011, which is very outdated. We don't really have much more on that. If you have any new studies, please send them to me, because I haven't really found anything. But in the United States, it's about 24% write proficiently by 8th grade was the last study. And in comparison, we're not alone in this. It's worldwide, whether you're in France, whether you're in the UK, whether you're anywhere in the world, we all have this global writing challenge. And so the UK is much better at reporting some of these writing engagement statistics and literacy statistics. So their most recent report, I think, was in 2025. And writing was actually more of a problem than math was in the UK. And although we can't say we are the same as the British, I think we can maybe project a little bit and say maybe we have a couple parallels. And it's been on a downward trend since 2015. Australia also does not meet national literacy numeracy standards, and boys in particular underperform in writing. So Year 9 students, if you're an English teacher, maybe you can, chime in. often write at a year 3 level when it comes to punctuation. Is that correct? They write like they're texting. So it's a bit of a problem. And I think the core of it is that students really are not writing anymore. So right now there's so much out there that's just more fun than writing. You have like video games, social media. 1 in 4 kids actually enjoy writing, and it's been a continual decline since 2010 by basically 20.2%. So this is a UK National Literacy Trust. They do an annual survey that surveys over 100,000 children between the ages of 5 and 18, but across 515 schools. So this is not like a study of 50 or 60 people. I think it's a pretty good reflection of the UK population, and I think we can maybe see, US might not be too far away from those numbers. And what's really appalling is that the younger students, which we think would be more engaged with writing because they're at the age where it's just fun to tell a story, well, they're actually not liking as much as even the previous years. So it's just declining more and more, but it's not all bad because they did find that students who are on free lunch meals actually enjoy writing more than peers. So it is possible to increase those numbers. The question is really like, how do we go about doing that? And so the report goes through why do kids write and what are the main criteria that the kids reported that make them want to write. And so from their survey, they actually found that creativity was the #1 reason why kids were writing. And yeah, when writing feels like work, they only want to be on a device. Exactly. Someone said that in the chat. So, oh dear. And learning and well-being and social are also contributing factors for why kids write. Oops. And of course, as teachers, we all know that writing is very, 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 very important. And it's not just because we write for the sake of writing, but it helps us with understanding how everything works, being able to put our thoughts onto paper to be more critical. So writing really helps students think and understand, and there's 3 main things that we need to focus on, which is #1, writing more. So writing about text, whether that's social studies, whether that's science, it needs to be integrated across the curriculum. And this can be not just your paragraph essays, but questions. What kind of question would you have about this? Reactions, reflections, anything that is just having them write a little bit more, because only if we practice more will you actually become better at it, which makes sense. So then, of course, we need explicit instruction. So that's what on writing skills, scaffolding, modeling good examples, all of that business. And finally, purposeful writing. I think this is the thing that kind of gets cut away a lot within the classroom. Purposeful writing is very important because it makes kids feel like they're being heard. If you just write for something that the teacher is not going to read, that you're not going to read, that's just going to be thrown away into the garbage can, why bother writing at all? And that's really key. Like we see Katie here, she said, let me highlight that if I can. So yeah, writing needs to go beyond only teacher reading. Okay, so let's continue. And finally, it's how students connect the dots in their knowledge. And what's another way that we connect our dots in our knowledge is critical thinking. So writing is basically critical thinking on paper, essentially. So where does coding fit in all this? Because you're here for coding after all. So, well, coding is a lot like writing. Coding extends these benefits. Writing helps make thinking visible, and coding also does that too. Coding requires you to break things down to make a big project into smaller pieces, to make a big problem into smaller parts. Coding requires you to plan, sequence, revise. And finally, usually when you code, you're trying to publish something like a game or something for others. You don't typically want to code in a little bubble. So we also want to publish and share our work for real audiences. Okay, so have you used, oh, I didn't set that up properly. But have you used computational thinking or coding with your students? I love to hear if you've done that. Okay, so in the chat, I see that we have a lot of twos. Sometimes we have some ones. We have some people who've never used it before. Welcome, welcome. I'm really excited that you're all here. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what is elementary to kind of give us a little context. Elementary is a K-12 platform to create stories, apps, and games. You can use it as easy as creating a slideshow or in PowerPoint or Google Slides. And right now we have a lot of ready-made lessons, and you can also build your own, which is what you're going to be doing by the end of this week. So we have a couple big myths about coding. Coding is a really scary word for a lot of people. It's a bit like, math. And the big myth is I'm not techie enough. And the reality though is creative coding is more about the creativity part than it is for the tech skills. And don't worry if you have no tech experience, it'll be easy. I promise. We'll go through it together. And if you are still confused, don't worry. We'll go through it together again. We have lots of support for that. We have Paige here who will support you. And we have some other people who are maybe familiar with the program as well. And we'll make sure that we'll all get through it. So the next big myth is coding is just for STEM. It's only for, those STEM teachers or those computer teachers or those technology teachers, those people that do stuff with, robots and makerspace stuff. And that's not true because coding can be integrated into all subjects. What I do want to tell you about this though is you are the subject matter expert. You focus on your subject matter. The coding is just another dimension of storytelling or communication. Just like how you might want to have students present on a poster board, or students might want to present on a Google slide. Well, coding can just be another way that they can present their information. And just always, I like to have them do the writing in class, and you can focus on your subject matter expertise and making sure that they understand what they're supposed to know. Yeah, we have great ideas, a puppet show or a skit. Those are all wonderful ideas for other ways that they can output their understanding. And the other big myth is my students aren't ready. It's my students, they're not ready. They can't even write sentences properly. How are they supposed to be able to code anything? They don't even capitalize the first letter of their sentence. But the thing is that coding can engage some of those students who might not be seen as good learners or good at school. Because it's just a new way that they can really explore and express themselves. Just like how we think of some artists or doodlers, they like to express themselves through, doodling and drawing. Coding can just be another way that they can express. And elementary really scaffolds coding so all ages and levels can progress through. Yeah, Luana makes a great point. Voiceovers are great for those kids that struggle with writing. So you can code voiceovers to add that extra audio dimension. Okay, so we have, I don't know if Ameerah is here yet. Is she here? I don't even know. Is Ameerah here? Ameerah,
Not yet.
say something if you're here.
Nicole, I don't think she's here yet.
Okay, well, that's fine. We can go through and okay. Well, we can go through with Gail Powell. So unfortunately, Gail Powell is not able to come in person, but I do have a video where she talks about her experience, and I have, more importantly, some of the student outputs so you can see what they've created within her classroom. And you'll see there's quite a range of outputs. So I believe, though, we're going to have to unshare again and then reshare and deal with the beeping because I haven't figured out how to make it not beep anymore. So So can you maybe just expand a little bit about like the impact that you're seeing with elementary in your classroom? Maybe what kind of outcomes, what's the favorite part, things like that.
Yes, my favorite part of elementary is in a world where my children have little to no control over their world, they have complete control over their learning. They can choose their background, they can choose their characters, they can customize their characters. My kids have learned to find backgrounds that relate to what we're learning, ones that are not distracting, relate to what we're learning because we're typing on the left-hand side, we're putting pictures on the right. My kids can do voiceovers. I was previously doing Flipgrid, which is great, but elementary is a more powerful tool because my kids are more comfortable and relaxed reading what they've written on the computer. And it's great for reading fluency. The impact is massive on their comprehension. The ability to have the ability to write about what you're learning and then see it and then say it and explain it and share it with others. They have the ability to code to make your writing come to life is just so impactful for my kids.
Okay, so let's go look at some of her student stories now. I'm going to go and pause some of it to give a little bit of background information. So I made a mistake. It's actually fifth grade science. They were doing a unit on galaxy and
Constellations, Rotations, Revolutions, Seasons by Darian Odom. Click the next button to go to the next page. What is a universe? What is a galaxy? What is our galaxy called and why is it called that?
First, I need to know your name.
okay, so at the beginning, you have, so let me go ahead and stop sharing so you won't hear the beeping anymore. Reshare again without the audio. Okay, so for some of the students, you see that they'll just have the text of answering their essential question of science and maybe an image. That's it. For other students, you'll have maybe, let's say like this one, you'll have some more styling. And for even the ones that are more advanced, this one has voiceovers, there's animation, there's variables, there's a whole bunch more. So you have the whole range, and this is all within one single classroom. To preface this, Gail Powell used elementary as just a way for her students to answer the essential questions in a more like fun way. That's pretty much all it is. Fifth grade science. This was fifth grade science. So she first gave her students the essential questions, like what is a galaxy? Why is it called a galaxy? And they had to first write it down. They didn't go into elementary yet. They had to just, I think they typed it up first on a Google slide or a Google Doc where they had to type it out or write it out by hand. And then once they finished answering all the questions, then they went into elementary to either copy and paste their answers or type up their handwritten answers and create their elementary story, or even like the mini game here where you have like, first I need to know your name, and then you're going to learn about galaxy and constellations. So any questions at this point? Any questions? I know I just blitzed through a lot of information in a very short amount of time. But is there any questions before we actually dive into elementary and create our first project? Okay, so that's a great question, Monica. So Monica asked how different elementary is from Scratch, and it has to do with the coding environment. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but elementary uses what is called a node-based coding environment, whereas elementary uses node-based coding, and Scratch uses Blockly-based coding. So the way that we code is a little bit different. We code more like a flowchart rather than blocks that snap. So it's the same computational thinking concepts, but just formatted in a little bit different way. But that's a great question. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. So let's go ahead and get started. Go into elementary.com and click sign up, choose teacher, and create your free account. Is elementary able to restrict better than Scratch? That is the question. So students will not be able to see or comment, or let me express it a little bit better. Within elementary, you have classrooms. Classrooms contain your students' stories or projects. When a project is published, it requires you to approve of it, but once it's approved, it becomes public. Anyone can view the story or project, but you cannot add comments to this project unless you are part of the classroom, and you won't be able to see the comments of that project unless you are part of that classroom. So we have that restriction. Can you keep them private? No, you cannot keep them private. So when you can choose not to publish it, but in Scratch, many students can get into some inappropriate games and content. So right now you cannot, you can view all the projects. Are you creating a class once you're logged in? No, you just create an account. We're going to go through creating an About Me interactive book. So there's one of them is not the right image, but there's two projects. About Me interactive book and 3 symbols about me. So you can go in and find the interactive About Me project. It's in the chat. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go into here. So once you've created an account, go ahead and click on the link in the chat that goes to the About Me interactive book. should look something like this. So you're creating an account so that your project can be saved, but you can actually go in and go through this lesson without creating an account. So that's what I'm going to do just to show you. I'm not logged in as a user. You do not create a class or join a classroom. Just go to the About Me Interactive Book project. The link is in the chat. Yep, so you're going to click for yourself. So when you click on it, it'll say, I want to do it for myself. And once you're in the project, you'll see a page like this with a blank slide with slides on the right. And I'm going to hide the chat. So maybe give a thumbs up if we're all ready here. And if you need some extra help, Paige, do you want to maybe do a breakout room so that there's a support room if people need extra help? So I have a great question from Lisa. It says, I teach 800 students a week. Am I able to create that many classrooms in elementary? So on the free tier, you can only create one classroom of up to 35 student accounts. What you could do if you want to stay on the free tier is you can just cycle through those 35 student accounts with all your students. So instead of having a student account per each student, you can just have a student account called like school mascot number 1, school mascot number 2, school mascot number 3, and have them come in and work on it that way. Otherwise, if you do upgrade, then yes, you can create classrooms, unlimited classrooms, and depending upon your plan, it'll be however many students. So 800 students would be on the school plan, and you would just say how many student licenses you would need. If you need assistance, click on tech support and then someone will be able to assist. Does each account need an email address? No, you can create just a student account with no email address attached. And students can log in and log in through like single sign-on, through username, password, through a link, and also through a QR code. So Chanel asked a question, if we do just one class for 800 students, they won't be able to save their project. So if you're doing it incognito, so if you're just going in as a guest, they won't be able to save their projects. If you create a classroom with your student accounts like computer 1, computer 2, computer 3, then the projects will be saved. There's no limit on how many projects you need. Okay. So, let's just go through and you don't see me. You just see my video.
We only see your video, not your face.
Oh, it's because I'm not here. That's why. Where's my video? There we go. Here's my
And, yeah,
video.
and the chat box is in the bottom, so that
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of it. 1 second. There we go. Now you see my face again. My lovely face. Hello, everyone. So let's go through our first project, and I'm gonna just guide you through kind of like how it all works. So on Elementary, you have your main page. And just like Google Slides, you can, add some text. So that's actually our first instruction. Our instructions are on the right. So you'll see, create your title page. Get started with the title page of your interactive About Me book. You'll be adding a nice text effect animation to your title. And you can choose to click on the Read to Me, and it will do a text speech for all of these sections, including the instructions below. So the first instruction is to add a text box. So we can actually see that things are lit up, and we can use that to help guide. For teachers who teach really littles or students who struggle with following directions, you might want to set your level. So levels on Elementary, we have 3 levels. Beginner, and I'm just going to show you what beginner looks like. Beginner looks like this. You can't do anything, really, except for what the instructions tell you to do. So it says to add a text box to my page. Well, I can't add images. I can only add a text box. So let's do that. I add a text box to my page, and it will go to the next step. So then the next step says to write something in the text box. Make sure to put your first name or nickname. Don't put your last name, since it will be published so anyone can read it. So we'll say all about Nicole. Let me click the next button. The controls to set limits are the 3 dots right next to the title. So it says About Me Interactive Book, and there's 3 dots. You click on the 3 dots, and then you click on Set Your Level. So this will restrict the user interface, so what they see. So the next step is to add a background image. So we have all these background images that you can add. You can go ahead and search for a background image. Like I want to search for, I don't know, a house. And we have some nice houses. Let's go ahead and choose this house. Okay, so now my next step says to change the font color. If you're having trouble, you can join the tech support room, or is there too many? Do we need another tech support room? We can. You can join the tech support room, and then somebody will help you with whatever you need help with. How do you enter the tech support room? So I believe you have to go to breakout rooms and then click on join for tech support. Yeah, I think Paige, if you can move her into tech support, that'd be great. Just if you want to come back, I don't know. Paige will figure it out. Is there a way not to see the pro choice, or do educators and students automatically have access to pro? So no, you'll see, if you're on the free tier, you'll see the pro stickers everywhere. That's just how it is, unfortunately. There's no way to get rid of the pro stickers. So My next step says to find a color that contrasts, so things are lit up. I can click and find a nice color. I like pink. Oh, that's hard to read though. Oh no, I can't go back. It says to continue. Go next. Oh, Ameerah's here. Okay, we'll take a quick break and Ameerah can interject and talk about how she's used elementary in her classroom. So let's go through a little bit of the coding part first, and then I'll let Ameerah take over, and we'll go back to having her share. So somebody asked before, how does elementary differ from Scratch? And you'll see right here. So our blocks, let me go and set my level back again so you can see other things. So on elementary, we have blocks on the right hand side, and they look like this. They have nodes to input and nodes to output, and everything is color coded. So all the green blocks are our functions. Orange blocks are our events. They tell the computer when to do certain actions or certain functions. And purple blocks are all the objects on the page. So you can't see how I got. So let me go ahead and delete. So you can delete and it'll go back to the previous step. So you'll have to go to the event graph side. There's a button on the top that flips the page from the front to the back side. So the front side is where we design. It's the front end. The back side is where we code. This is the back end. The Objects tab is the very last tab at the bottom. And when you open it, it gets all of the objects on the page and puts them here. So right now I only added a text box and I haven't added anything else. So there's only this text box all about Nicole added to this page. Okay. So you don't have the same icons I do. Are you talking about the icons? The object. So let me go through again. So in objects, it's all the things that are on your page. So right now, I have a text here that says all about Nicole. But if I say something like Nicole's interactive book, and if I make it like purple, oh, purple's hard to read. If I make it white, then my objects will update. So now it's a white text. Okay, so I've added it to the page, and now it gives me the next step, which is to find the event on page start. And there's a little box here that says, what are events? If you open it up, if you don't know or ever forget, or if students are like, what is this? Though I doubt that's going to really happen. It'll open up a definition of what an event is. So events tell the computer when to start doing something. Event blocks are orange on elementary. And if you need any assistance, please let us know so we can open up different rooms to assist you. So let's go ahead and add our block on page start. So on page start is our event. It tells us when to execute the code. And finally, we want to play a text effect. So we want this text, Nicole's interactive book, to have a fancy animation. So in order to do that, we need to go ahead and grab a function called play text effect. So now we have 3 blocks on the page, and we need to connect them all together in order to make our code run. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we have this purple circle, and it will go to the right here, this enlarged purple circle outline, and it will fill it in. So next, we'll need to connect our on-page start and our play text effect together. So we have this white triangle, and it will go in and fit into this white outlined triangle. Okay, so the last step is we can choose what effect we want for this animation. And we can go in and choose, like, I don't know, I like pop. We'll go with pop. And let's take a look to see what it looks like. So if I click on preview, Nicole's interactive book. So then of course you can, style it, make it pretty, choose different backgrounds if you want. Oh, this is nice. I like this. There we go. Maybe I want a fish in my fish tank, since it looks a bit sad by itself. Go ahead and find this fish. There we go. So cute. And because I like cats, we'll find a cat too. And we can search in the images and find whatever we want to add. So these are all the lovely cats we have. And you can also upload your own images. This is a pro feature to upload your own. And since you are all in this PD, you will all get upgraded so that all of your students can use Elementary for free on the pro tier for the upcoming school year. Otherwise, for schools, Elementary is $2 per student for the year. And you can choose how many student licenses you want. So that can be for a grade band or it could be for your whole school. It's really up to you. But you'll have it for free for the whole year because you're part of this wonderful, magical PD with all of us. So I know Ameerah has to go do other stuff, so I'm going to let her take over. I'm going to stop my screen share and maybe if she can just introduce a little bit about herself and talk, that'd be marvelous. And while she's doing that, feel free to just continue working on your stuff. Is she here?
I am.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah!
It took a while.
All good.
I am Ameerah Eaddy, and I am a music specialist and also arts integration specialist in South Carolina. I teach at a school called Savannah Grove Elementary in Effingham, South Carolina. I used the name Interactive Book with a group of after-school students to help them with writing, and was able to present it at the
recording in progress
at the Institute for Arts Integration and STEAM about elementary. I'm trying to see if there's, I don't know if you have any questions for me since I just came in, but I can say since I chunked using this with those students, it really got them into writing, and we focused on what they wrote, but it made them want to write because they wanted to do the interactive parts. And being able to use the layout grid that she was just demonstrating made it so it made it easier for them and gave them choice and voice, especially with them being introduced to coding for the first time there. Even though I think maybe the year before I may have done a little bit of code.org with some of them, they really love this and continue to use it on their own. Even when I left that school, I go back and look and saw that someone made some more books. So I'm excited about how I can use elementary where I am now, because I've since changed from that school, but it had an impact on those students.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I just wanted to kind of make people feel a little bit less intimidated that you don't have to be a techie person or a computers person to use it. Like, you can just be, a teacher and just use it because it's geared for teachers and for all students. So if it's too hard, that means like we at the elementary team are doing something wrong and we need to address it so that we can make it more accessible for all of you. So we try to do a lot of stuff with that. And Paige brought up a really good point. Today is day one. If you struggle, it's a productive struggle. It's going to be fine. And we're all here to help you. It's the first time that you're using this tool. It's probably the first time you've even seen anything with node-based visual programming. And so don't feel like, oh my God, I'm so behind. I didn't finish this project. It's okay. Just chill. We're here for you. So it's going to be great. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen again so you can all see the project and we can continue to go through it together. I know that we have some people who are just listening in, so that's fine. Okay. So I had a question, which was, how did you get it to play back? And if you want to see how your code is running, you can just click on the preview button here. And when you click on, oh, I'm on the wrong thing. When you click on preview, it will run your code. So okay, heads up, everyone, heads up, real quick. We have this button here that's called inspect mode, okay? It's this little magnifying glass that's in your preview. So you have full screen, and then next to it, you have this magnifying glass. It's called inspect mode. And when you click on that, you can then see your code run in action. Okay, great. So you can see, once again, let's go. You can see all the code lights up when it's running. And then here you'll be able to see your variables. You'll be able to see your coding log. And this is really great for when you are debugging things. Okay. Can I connect more than one image, the play text effect? It seems like the second one is not connecting. So play text effect only works with text objects. So you can't, so let's say like I have a fish already. I have a fish. I won't be able to connect play text effect with this fish. I can if I add a subtitle that says my awesome About Me book. If I have two texts, I can add it and it will animate both of them at the same time. So Ameerah brought up, we spent several sessions on the cover and the interactive name page. I was able to work one-on-one with students as the other students worked individually. It allowed all students of all levels to feel success. So that's a really great point where you'll always have the student who is really enthusiastic about coding or technology who might get things faster than others. And don't worry, they'll be more than happy to teach not only their other peers, but you about coding. So it really makes them feel empowered and, valued, I think. So don't worry if you only have pro backgrounds. You can go ahead and add them. It just means you won't be able to publish. But during the lunch break, I'll actually go through and we'll upgrade all of you. So then you can all publish your projects. So don't worry if you only have pro things and you don't know what to do with them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and check really quick on time. No, go ahead and, so what I mean is go ahead and add a pro background. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and add one and it should validate the step. It won't let you validate the step. One second. Can whoever is having issues with not being able to go to the next step without it, can you go into maybe the tech support room? And we can see if we can fix that issue. I'm just going to take a really quick look at the time. Okay. So right now, that's what I thought. I was like, right now, we should actually, I think, be close to our break. In about 10 minutes, we'll take a quick break. And in the meantime, I will actually see if... Okay, so I'm going to actually go ahead and continue with this milestone. So we can take a look at the voiceover. And if anybody needs help, we can jump into a breakout room and Paige can assist you. So I'm now on the milestone called Record Your Voice. So it's going to be on the next page. And you can add a couple sentences and code your voiceover to play. So Miss K asked if they're only going to see the Pro as well. So I mentioned it before, by joining this PD, everyone gets a free upgrade. So for the whole school year, you'll be able to experience all the Pro features and all of your students will be as well. So right now we're just experiencing the free tier just to see what it's like compared to later on the Pro. The main limitation that you'll see is like you see right now is there's the Pro tag and you have a limited number of student accounts to a classroom. So I believe we'll do a new sorting, so the free images will be put at the top. Right now the sorting is not there, so that's why you see a whole bunch of Pro, because it's basically everything is random instead of being sorted. Yeah, so we will implement that very soon. So let's go ahead and add a brand new page. So in order to add a brand new page, you will need to go to the left-hand side. There's a plus page button. You click on the plus page to add a brand new page to your project. Then you can add a text box. and you will write something in the text box. So there's a couple of sentence starters. Let's say my comfort food is pizza. Let me click on the next button. So please let us know if you experience any issues. It might not be you, it might be us. And if it is, then we need to be able to mark those down as bugs to be able to fix them. So your help is really appreciated on that end. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the blue microphone button here. Click. It will have a little dialogue. It says click here. My comfort food is pizza. And there is a wonderful little sound graph. You can trim it, so you can get rid of the stuff at the beginning and at the end, so it's nice and tight. My comfort food is pizza. You'll be able to preview it, and then you can save the trim if you like it. And then give the recording a name. So, favorite food. And then I'll save it. So you'll notice here, there's now a 1, and that means that there is 1 recorded voiceover. So you can see all of the voiceovers here. You can delete it, or you can play it again. So the next thing we'll do is we're going to code this voiceover to play when the page starts. So to code, we have to go to the event graph. So click on the button at the top. Go to the event graph side. So I'm not sure why this is still highlighted. That's a bug. That will be fixed. And then we go to events. We find our event on page start. Remember, events tell the computer when to do something. And in this case, we don't want to animate. We want to play a recorded sound. So we go to the sound tab. There's a nice highlight to help us. And we're going to drag it onto the page. So this one is easier. There's only 2 blocks together. And how do we connect our blocks together in order to make our blocks work? Well, we have a white triangle, and it goes to the white triangle. Now we have to select the sound. So there's a button here that says select a sound. We're going to click on that. It opens up a pop-up. And since I haven't logged in, I'm just called guest, but it should be your name. Then I'm going to click on the sound that I just named. In my case, it's favorite food. Confirm. And there you go. I selected this sound. And I can then preview to see if it works properly. And since I'm not sharing the sound, unfortunately, you won't be able to hear it. So just trust me that there's a sound that plays. My comfort food is pizza. So if your mic won't pick up sound, that may be in your browser settings. Can you Can you make sure that your browser setting is able to pick up the microphone? If you checked all the settings and it's still not working, if you refresh Elementary, does anything change? Here, what I'm gonna do is, Meredith, I'm gonna send you to the tech support room and see if they can figure that out. So just a quick check, how are we all doing here? Give me a thumbs up if you're doing great. What kind of reactions do I have anyway? Thumbs up if you're doing great. I don't know, if you're not doing so great, give me another emoji. If you need help. If you're a bit confused, raise your hand maybe. The default emojis for Zoom are not very expressive. It's a lot of celebration, and not enough I'm confused and need help. I guess you have a no. You have a no emoji. Okay. Okay, so the next big thing, oh, I think we're already past time. So let's actually go through this last thing really quick and then we'll take a break. So we'll quickly go through the animation. So we have this animation tab here. And if you click on it, you'll be able to grab this girl. Unfortunately, the instructions are very explicit. They only say you can grab the girl. So if you want to have a boy animated, unfortunately, you can't. You have to first grab the girl and do the instructions with the girl and then go back and, change it up. So just bear with me. If you don't want to have this girl character, it's okay. So we can go ahead and change the size. And then we have this wonderful button called Customize. When you click on it, you can change the clothes, the skin color, the hair, the nose, the eyes, play some dress up. Okay, great. Oh no, Katie, you can't get to the next step. Let's take a look. So I'm going to actually go into, can you copy and paste your project link for me, Katie? Just put it in the chat. I think I would have to log in though. Let me go ahead and log in so I have master access. And can somebody paste their project in chat so we can troubleshoot together? All right, great. So I'm going to go into, this is Katie's project. Let's take a look. About Me Symbols app. Add the symbol. Let's try to restart. This lesson might be a bit bugged, unfortunately. Okay, if you're doing the About Me Symbols app, then you will not be able to go to the next page for some reason, and that's a bug. So it's not you, it's this lesson. It's one of the older lessons, and I guess that this one didn't get past the revision phase, or I forgot about it, so.
So I tried the middle school and the high school one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
and
It's the
got
same one.
stuck.
It's the same one, unfortunately. So
Okay.
it's the same project. So yeah. So for that one, it's an older project, so we made changes, and I think this one didn't get revamped to work properly. So if anybody else is trying the About Me Symbols app project, this one is not working. So I'm sorry about that. This one was an older project, and just ignore this project for now, okay? Pretend it doesn't exist yet. So sorry about that. Luana said it took refreshing several times and then it worked. Well, I don't know. I think it's because I would have to go in to this project to see. Is anybody able to go through this project or not? The About Me Symbols, 3 symbols one. Okay, Luana was able to finish. So let's go through and hold on one second. Let me see if I can reset it for you, Katie, so then you can work through it. Let's try this. Maybe it's not. Let's try again. Go through to the project. Student milestone. If anybody else needs help, I believe the troubleshooting tech support room is maybe available. Okay. Hi, Katie, it works. Okay.
Perfect.
Try,
Thank you.
if you're not seeing the same steps as me, you might need a refresh, but since I did a whole bunch of random stuff on the back end. Anybody else having issues? I see Jenny has an issue. Let's do this one. Hi, Jenny. Let's go into Jenny's project if I can. Okay. Jenny, you're basically done. It's because this is not clear. It says we have to just change the label text effect. So my instructions here are not clear. You have to first change the text effect, and then you can finish it up. Okay, great. You're done. Jenny's done. Okay. And we are a little bit behind, but let's go ahead and go on a quick break right now. So everyone grab a coffee, take a break. And we'll be back in 10-ish minutes. If you want to stay around for troubleshooting, then feel free. But right now, take a break for 10 minutes. Go get a coffee, get some fresh air, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you back again at, what is it? Is someone in Easter time? Can you tell me what time it is over there?
11:24 a.m.
Okay, so can we be back at like 11:34? Let's be back in 10 minutes, 11:34. Let's do that. Okay, so um
So, Nicole, some people are saying that they're having an issue with the record your voice, that when they speak, they hear the recording, their voice as they're speaking.
it's
So I
giving,
think I think it's a Zoom issue
yeah, I think it's a Zoom issue. Um
because the speakers are on through Zoom.
yeah. I think it's a Zoom issue because I tested the lesson right before and I didn't have the issue, but this time when I'm doing it, I hear the audio feedback as well. So if you hear an echo, I think it's because Zoom is playing your speaker audio back as well. So it's like you're hearing, it's the way Zoom routes the sound, I think.
Right. So my recommendation is turn off the sound for a minute while you're recording, and then you can put your sound back on. So just on your laptop or desktop, just turn off the sound for a moment.
I wanted to ask, where do I get the thing for the for Zoom to not have the beep 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 every time somebody. I don't hear you, Paige.
Okay, I just tried it with my speaker off and it was fine. So that's my recommendation. Lauren also recommended using headphones.
If you go to the bottom where it says chat and you are able to have the chat on your left hand or on your right hand side, in the top right corner of the chat where it says meeting chat, and then there's a bell next to it, you can X that and that will take that beeping sound off for you.
Okay. I think it's because I'm on.
Yeah, I don't have that option at all. I don't see there isn't a bell. The only way I was able to turn it off was through the audio settings.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm
this was
gonna do.
yeah, this was a different issue though. This was that you hear your voice as you're speaking while you're doing the record your voice on page 1. So Ms. K, the two recommendations are either, oh, okay, that did work. Okay, perfect. If anybody else has any issues, please put it in the chat and we're here to help.
So there's a question that if you can add 150 students to the account. I believe David has gone through to upgrade people already as we go. So if your account has not yet been upgraded, reach out and we're already starting the process of upgrading. So as long as you create an account within the last however many minutes we've been together, you've been upgraded for the most part, unless we didn't see it. So if we haven't seen it, please reach out and then we'll make sure to upgrade. The upgrade will last a year. And if you need more than 150 students, then I'll have a form a little bit later where you can say how many student licenses you need. If you already had an account before today, then that's fine. You'll just be upgraded for whatever. So if you forgot to how to code the voiceover, let's go into elementary really quick. Want to go into this project? We'll just create a brand new one. So once you record a voiceover, how do I? Okay. One, two, three. You'll name it. And then we'll go ahead and grab on page start, or whenever you want your voiceover to play. I think in the instructions it's on page start, but you can be more creative and do it on click when you click something. And then you go to sounds and there's a play record sound where you can connect the blocks together. And then you just need to select the sound you want. And then it should be able to work when you preview. Again, if you're hearing yourself, it's like just turn off your speakers or wear headphones and then put it back on. It's some of the Zoom settings when you're trying to record while in Zoom. So if you're not in Zoom, it should be fine. So if you're not upgraded, please send a message and let us know your elementary username, and then we can make sure that you are upgraded properly. Okay, let's troubleshoot really quick Lisa's project. Lisa, can you give me actually can you give me the link to your project so we can take a look at it? Okay, if you put your username in the chat, then David is going ahead and upgrading you guys at this point in time. So let's go ahead and continue really quick. And don't worry if you haven't figured it out right now, just give yourself a little bit of a break. We're going to go through a lot more projects and we'll have lots of support. And over time, you'll feel very confident with it. So don't worry too much. And a final note, if you're still not comfortable with it, that's also okay, because we've had teachers who've used elementary successfully and they don't even know how to code a voiceover, because what they focus on is, like, once again, what I talked about, they focus on the content of what kids are going to be writing. The coding, your kids will take off and they'll explore and they'll teach each other and all of that. So don't worry about having to need to know how to use the technology. Okay.
Nicole, you're not in slide display. Press presentation mode. And also, if anybody thinks that they haven't been upgraded yet, press F5 to refresh. And then if it's still not showing, then please add your ID in the chat. But otherwise, you should see it once you press F5.
Okay. So we won't do this because right now I think a lot of people are commenting in the chat about how to get upgraded and stuff. But we'll ask this question again. And if you could, I'd love to hear from you guys about the ones who have already used coding in their classroom. How have you used coding in your classroom? I'd love to hear from you guys really quick. Okay, we have people who have created projects from scratch, who've used Sphero robots and the Bebot. With KaiBots. Oh, so many coding robots. People who've done Hour of Code. That's wonderful. So for those of you who have already know a little bit about coding, this is all like basics to you. But for those that don't know anything about coding, we're going to go through some of the basics of coding, just so you have a little bit of a foundational understanding of what's going on when you're connecting all of these blocks together. So what is computational thinking? So typically when we talk about coding, we're actually talking about computational thinking because it's more than just the code. It's the way of thinking most. And the definition, I guess, would be solving problems, designing systems, and understanding human behavior by drawing on the concepts fundamental to computer science. And if that sounds too researchy for you, then it basically just means that you're going to be thinking like a computer scientist. That's all. And it's basic problem solving. And you already do this basic problem solving in your classes. Probably even if you are an English teacher, you already do this in your writing process. So the components of computational thinking are the following. You have decomposition, which means breaking a problem into smaller pieces, which is the basics of engineering, pretty much, and of planning out anything. Let's say you want to take a trip to, I don't know, the Bahamas, and you want to make sure it's between, you're leaving on Saturday and you're coming back on Thursday. Well, how are you going to do that? You will have to break the problem into smaller pieces, like how do I get the flight tickets? Where do I book my hotel? How do I travel when I get there? Those are all examples of decomposition in practice. Then you have pattern recognition. So this is finding similarities between things and then just recognizing patterns. You have abstraction. So abstraction is probably the one that's a little bit harder to get your head around, but it's basically the use of models to solve problems. So you will take a pattern and then you'll try to figure out a way to take this pattern and make it into like a model. So this is like your sentence starters or your fill in the blank sentences. Those are examples of abstraction in work. So you're using a model to solve like your sentence. And finally, algorithms. This is probably the easiest to think about. It's basically your instructions, your step-by-step instructions to follow a task. So go left, then go up, then go right. It's your directions. Simon says, put your hands on your head. That's basically what it is. So why does this all matter? Well, because coding at the core of it is engineering, and engineering is building habits of testing and iteration, which is essential for real projects. So this is not just coding. Whenever you code, you see the lovely meme. It's like code for 6 minutes, debug for 6 hours. Now, if all of our students can even maybe like revise a paragraph that they've written even 5 minutes, I think a lot of English teachers would be happy about that. And in code, most of the time you're trying to fix, like you're trying to make it better or make it work essentially. So a lot of it is the revision process of debugging, reiterating, trying again, and persisting through that entire cyclical process. So we talked a little bit about it, but what are events? Well, events tell the computer when to start an action. So events are like on page start, play a text effect. So when the page starts, do something. When you drag something over something else, do something. On click, when you click on an object, do something. And one of my favorite blocks, on pronounce, when the computer hears the word hello, then do something. So events tell it when to do a certain action. Functions in particular, I'm too big. Functions in particular tell the computer what action to do. You could think of them like your action words. So that's like play text effect, or play music, or move, or bounce, or play a recorded sound. Those are all examples of functions. I don't know what I just did. What did I just do? I did some screen broadcast. You see my screen okay? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so then the last thing is objects, and these are all the things on the page. This can be your text, your images, your buttons. It's all the things that make up your design or your front end of your project. So whether your project is a story, whether it's a game, or whether it's an app, all of them will have things on it like that people will see. And those are all the objects on the page. So these are all purple on elementary. So if you're a K5 or even I would say K5 teacher, or even if you're using elementary for even some in middle school, these are probably all that you're going to see. You're just going to see events, functions, and objects. And you can do a lot of cool things with that already. So you've already done some animations. And here's our quick coding cheat sheet. So these are all in the slides, and you have access to all of these that kind of just go over everything. If you wanted to be more, have a more explicit instruction about these concepts. So after we learn about, okay, we have events, we have functions, and we have objects, well, what about sequencing? So sequencing is putting steps in the right order. So you have step 1, then step 2, then step 3. Computers are kind of stupid, so you have to really tell them what to do. They will take your orders very literally, and you have to give them directions. So, for example, here's an example of some unplugged sequencing. Maybe you want to, let me show myself really quick. So let's say you want to touch your toes. If I can go and touch my toes, then my next instruction is step 2 is stretch up and point to the ceiling. And then my next instruction is to jump up, run code, and try not to from the computer. So when you're teaching sequencing, you don't have to be on a computer. There's a lot of unplugged activities to do so, which is really great. And thanks to the generous page, we have wonderful links to lots of different unplugged activities if you're interested in focusing on teaching these CS concepts, computer science concepts of whether it's sequencing or others. So some that are really fun is anything related to human robots. So you can have people pair up. One person can be the coder commander, and the second person can be the robot. I actually did this project with my STEM camp, but we had an obstacle course set up. So the person who was the robot, I think we even had a blindfold. They held their hands so they wouldn't fall, but they had a blindfold and they had to give directions, and they had to be very clear about the directions. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to get through the obstacle course. It'd be like, you have to duck down and crawl under, or you have to, turn right, things like that. It was pretty fun. I don't know if Paige, if you want to jump in with anything.
The cup stacking one is my favorite. I just posted that. So I just presented on that last week at CSTA conference in Cleveland. And the links to all of these unplugged activities are in the slide deck that Nicole will either share out already, or we will share them out in a little while. So, but definitely the unplugged activities make the coding more real for your students because they can actually see what's going on step by step. And it's also great for the students who are non-readers, for any of your multilingual students, students who are emerging readers, or students with various learning abilities. So definitely a great way to dive in. Nicole, you need to put your microphone back on.
Sorry. 1 second. So let me talk again. So this is a sequence in elementary. So what does the sequence say? On page start, what's the first step? Fade in the letter A. Step 2 is fade in the letter N, and then fade in the letter A. So there's 3 letters and they fade in one after another. So we're going to blitz through this, and then we'll see if we have time to try it out ourselves. But all of these concepts will be gone over again and again throughout all the projects. So don't worry too much. I'm just front loading a lot of information to you right now. So, what are parallel functions? So this is the difference between elementary and Scratch. Elementary uses node-based visual programming. We base our programming off of real tools such as Unreal Engine, Event Graph. Let me look for the other ones. We have Unreal Engine Event Graph is basically the game engine that is behind all of the popular games out there. So everything from Fortnite to pretty much 95% of the games that have been published. Visual coding is also used in architecture. It's used, node-based visual coding that is used in architecture. It's used for a lot of design and art things. Let me pull it up really quick for the full examples. So just so you can see really quick. So right here, Unreal Engine is the engine behind Fortnite and beyond. It looks like this. It's much more complicated than us. Houdini, it's the industry standard for all of the blockbuster movies. Touch Designer, which is for interactive art. It powers Coachella's visuals. Grasshopper, which is for architecture. Those are all examples of node-based visual programming. So we didn't like invent this. it was already there. We just try to make it a little bit easier for kids especially to use it. So node-based visual programming is really powerful because you can do things at the same time. So you can play a voiceover at the same time the text is animating. If you were to try to do that in Scratch, it's a lot of weight blocks and a lot of timing of your weights. And it's just a lot more complicated overall. So this is an example. So on page start, you can do two things at the same time. You can fade in Mrs. Johnson and you can rotate Mrs. Johnson 360 degrees for a duration of 3 seconds. So finally, the last big concept that we're going to cover before we try to do some animations is loops. So loops repeat instructions. It says do a set of instructions X amount of times, or do this until the condition is true. So for example, we might do stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap. And we might try to, do this for the entire song. If you were to have these set of instructions for the entire song, it'll be a lot of pages of stomp, stomp, clap, which is not that fun in terms of environmental being environmentally friendly. What we can do instead is we can just do a repeat until song done and then have our instruction, which is stomp, stomp, clap. So that's basically what loops do. Example of a loop in action is on every event block on elementary. You have a little drop down next to loop. It says loop, and you can choose how many times you want it to loop, or you could choose it to loop forever. What that means is all of the functions or code or whatever that is afterwards will go through, and then once it's done, it's going to loop. So in this case, I just have bounce, so it'll be on click bounce, and then it'll go back again, and it'll be loop, loop. Okay, so I have a board that has the animate your name examples, and let's take a look at those. And you can go ahead and try to animate your own name in your project. So this is a fade in sequence. Let's go ahead and go into inspect mode so you can see what the code looks like with the result. But we're actually not going to share the Padlet. What we'll do is when you're done, share in the chat actually. I want to change this. Share your projects in the chat. So what we will do is after today is done, we will go through the chat and we will sort out all of the project URLs and we'll compile them into a document that you guys can browse, as well as any questions or points of discussion that were relevant to today that we think that other teachers might benefit from. So we'll do like a cheat sheet document, share document at the very end. So go ahead and just have everything done in the chat. So, so if you haven't started already, you can go ahead and get started with trying to code an animation. And I will actually go through with you to maybe to code. So you can continue with your project or you can create a new project. This one has no lesson. It's just more of a extension that you can try out on your own. Okay, so I will go through with you. If you can't share in the chat, that's fine. Like just we'll get the projects out, or you can share it with us via email later. It's not a big deal. Okay, so just take what you can right now. If you feel overwhelmed or if you think it's too, like we're going too fast, please go in, please follow along with me. I'm going to animate something with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and
Nicole, show them
Yes.
how to get into a brand new one.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and create a brand new project. You can continue your old project, but if you want to do a brand new project, you click on the button Create at the top here. It's orange. So when you click to create, you'll see recent projects. And this is where all of your projects live. Then there's a button here called Plus Project. You click on Plus Project. Then create freely, start with your own ideas with this book icon. You click on it and it'll give you a blank project. So there's nothing on it, there's no instructions. It's just a sandbox where you can experiment a little bit with coding in particular. So So what are people interested in coding as a sequence? Maybe we want to do, let's go ahead and make my name. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's break it up. I'm going to do NI. I'm going to copy and paste. CO. LE. So now I have 3 pieces of text that I can now animate. And I can just make it bigger so we can see it better. So let's say I want to animate my 3 pieces of my name. Let's do maybe like a fade in. Then we'll rotate this one, CO, and then let's make the LE get bigger and smaller. So there's going to be 4 steps. 4 steps. So I want to animate it when? I want to animate it when my page starts. And then I want to grab my text, so NI, on page start, my first piece. And I want to grab the fade function to fade it in. So always start with an event block. Your code will not run unless you have an event block. So first step is white triangle goes to the white triangle outline. Then the purple circle goes to which one? The purple circle outline. Let's just see if the NI will fade in properly. To do so, I click on preview. Oh, it fades in. So now let's do the next step. The next step I want to do is make my CO text rotate. So the CO text is going to rotate, and we have a wonderful block called rotate that will do this for us. And how do I connect my blocks together in order to make them work? Well, I have this white triangle, but I have 2 places I can connect it to. I could connect it to 1, on page start, or 2, fade. For those of you that are just listening in, where do you think I connect this rotate to? 1, on page start, or 2, fade? I'm going to go to fade. And then similarly, the purple circle now goes to rotate because I want to rotate this CO text. Okay, so let's preview. And then, my CO is not rotating. Why is it not rotating? So let's debug and let's see why it might not be rotating. So when we're debugging, the first step is, are all of the nodes connected? Well, my purple circle is connected to something. My white triangle is connected, so it seems to be okay. But notice I have angle is 0 degrees. So if it's 0 degrees, it's not going to rotate very far. So I need a big number. So what's a big number for the number of degrees? Oftentimes at this stage, if you ask the students, give me a number, give me any number, what they're going to give you is something like 5, which is great. It's a great number. Thing is, when you click preview, you won't really see much of anything happening. And that's because 5 degrees is not much. So then we have to talk about degrees and what's a good number for degrees. Well, if you want a full circle or half a circle, Let's do half a circle. Half a circle. Let's try 180. And if I click on preview, oh, great. So now it spins and it's upside down now. So and then the last step is, what did I say? We want to make our LE bigger and then smaller. Okay, so in order to make things bigger and smaller, we have to use the scale function. So the scale function is here. And what do I want to scale? I want to scale my LE text. And remember, if anybody is needing any help, please let us know, and then we can make sure that you can have some tech support. So now I need to connect my rotate block, or let's see, I have my scale. I have a lot of places I could connect it to, 3 places. But we're going to connect it to the rotate block because we want it to happen after the rotate. So we could think of the white triangles as arrows directing the flow of our logic, the flow of our functions. And then finally, purple circle here goes to the purple circle. So I like where Catherine is going. 1080 for the number of angles. That's a great number. Let's try that. Okay, let's go back to our scale. So if I preview, let's see what that looks like. Whoa. And nothing happens to my LE. So let's go back. Why is nothing happening to my LE? Are all of my nodes connected? So does that mean my purple circle's connected? Yeah, it's connected. This is connected. I'm missing, yep, I'm missing the scale. I only have scale 1 time. So scale, let's try a number. Give me any number. Any number. Do we have a number? No number. 100. Okay, let's try 100. Let's be creative. Let's try 100. Whoa! And then it blows up. So that could be the effect that you're going for. That could be the effect. But maybe let's try something a little bit less than 100. Let's try 2. Okay, so it gets 2 times bigger because the scale factor is how many times bigger or smaller something is. So the last step we want is, let's go ahead and, okay, grab our blocks. Okay, the last step we want is we want to make our LE smaller again. I think it's kind of funny to have it be like super big, taking up all that space. Let's have it scale down back again. And let's use our thinking hats and think of what can we do for scale then? What's a good number? What's a good number we can use? If we use 20, it's going to become big. So if we use 20, it's going to be really big. 1, well, if 1, let's try it. Nothing happens if we do 1 because it's basically saying after we make it 2 times bigger, we're going to just make it 1 time bigger. So nothing changes. Let's try -2. Can we even do that? Nope, we can't do -2. -2 is not allowed. So let's think of something else. Another number. Okay, let's try 0.5. Okay. Whoa! Okay. Now, good job, everyone. 0.5 makes it back to its original place because what you're doing is you're multiplying it then by 0.5. That's the scale factor. So first you're multiplying it by 2, and then you're multiplying it by 0.5. So what happens? Well, it's going to return to the same size. And so we actually have gone through a lot, but it's almost lunchtime, everyone, isn't it? In terms of time? Yeah, it's almost lunchtime. So we're going to go ahead and go to our lunch panel, and then we'll backtrack and we'll do the other, where are we? We'll backtrack and have Luana take over after the panel. So right now it's time for a break. See you again in about 10-ish minutes for our lunch panel.